Do that. It says on air already, Bill.
We're always on.
Yeah,
air.
well, as we
It's
found
a
out last
lie.
week, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, what?
It's a
You
lie.
need you
That
know,
was
you
because Joe turns off the auto start button because I acted like I
You need to have it
understood, but I
tied,
didn't.
man. You need to put a little Raspberry Pi Zero connected to that thing. So if the stream is up, turn the light on. If the stream is off, turn the light off. Bill,
Can you?
I'm just
Yeah,
constantly
you could do that with Home
confused.
Assistant or something, couldn't you? Probably,
that's not my job. It's yours. I don't know.
or just a like a System
timer.
D service timer. Yeah.
No, like a physical 1981 timer that you plug in next to the plug.
Well, if I
And
used
you
a
just-
Pi Zero, I've got a couple of Pi Zeros just sitting around doing nothing.
Too complex. You already told us a story about how you don't know how to plug stuff in, so your audio was broken.
Well, I haven't told everybody. I'll get into that in a minute. 'Cause that was
boy.
that burned up a quarter of my weekend
Gonna
And
burn up a quarter of
okay.
the show too.
when it turned out all I needed to do was open up the Scarlett also GUI and draw 2 lines between 2 dots, and then boom.
You already lost me, man. That's too much. What
Yeah.
what you need?
over my
is
head, no
like-
idea.
You need real physical plugs. to
That's
things.
kind of what you're doing, basically.
No, you're not. It's not real and
That's
it's
the
not physical.
That is the physical or the graphical representation of what you would physically be doing.
Yeah, you lost me, man.
Let's do a 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Wait, what was I doing?
Just creating the little space so that I can find where we started. And if there's noise, I can do the Audacity thing. But it means nothing for you guys. No, mostly it's just so I can look at the waveforms once they're all put together and I can see a space. Boom, that's where we started.
You just said 3, 2, 1. So you said, and then you said 3, 2, 1, and I was like, great, we're done.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So episode 45. Stream is good. Nobody's going to be there anyway. Craig is running, I think. Okay. You've hooked me on this Craig shit, by the way.
Give them $5.
I give them 10 a month.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's more than I was. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm using it for both shows now because it's that
Fantastic.
good. Oh God.
Yep.
It's fucking,
Well, and for the amount of time it saves you,
oh jeez.
$10 well spent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
could we get better quality? Well, anyway.
Yeah, but you'd pay more than $10 for it.
You would.
It's that old like delighted, right? You can be delighted by something every now and then, and I think Craig's one of those things that just
Yes.
sort of delights.
Yep.
Although I must say, if a bot is the kind of thing that is delighting you, then I think you might need to look into the rest of your life. Just say.
That hurt, Majid. I got to tell you, I felt that deep down.
Nope. Sorry, you're gonna have to try harder for that dig. And when you've edited audio and you can do something.
Oh, there it
magical,
is. Oh, that was
yeah.
the perfect rebuttal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut him off short.
Well, like the man in the orthopedic shoes, I stand corrected.
Nice. Well done.
Linux OTC. Welcome to episode 45. I'm Bill.
I'm Eric.
I'm Majid.
And I'm the other guy.
The other guy. Leo Chavez, ladies and gentlemen, the host
What?
of Linux OTC.
Nobody
Leonardo.
watches. Yeah, nobody watches. They're just supposed to guess who it was. No one would have
Head
known.
to our YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Yeah.
And hit that subscribe as you go down.
I can
Don't
only
smash
assume.
it.
And remember to ding that notification bell.
Oh, God.
You guys are so forceful. Jeez.
I know.
That's how it
Just-
is, though.
just
Now all we
relax and
need is
chill out.
now all we need is the thumbnail with the guy with the mouth hanging open, pointing to the side.
Oh God, right.
It must
You
work,
won't
though.
believe.
That's called
10 reasons to
engagement,
use
all right?
Linux, and the fifth one will surprise you, or some such
Yeah.
shit.
Yep, that's it.
Big statement regarding. Did they mess up?
Engagement
Oh.
farming.
At what point is something engagement? At what point is something clickbait?
When it's social engineering, then it's engagement.
Yeah, and when it takes 10 minutes to get to the thing that you actually wanted to see and the thing that they were selling the video on.
Yeah, I was gonna say if as long as those first 10 minutes are go to NordVPN, protect all of your data, make sure the government can't see what you're doing online,
How
and then
many
they just have
people
a
is
contract
Nord
with
paying?
NordVPN to just give your data to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. Surely they wouldn't do that.
Oh,
Why would they do that? There's only millions of dollars in it for them if they do.
Of course,
No,
now we got
they-
people giving their data away out of spite just to.
Red note, red
Yeah.
book. What is
Yeah,
it?
I was gonna say the red note thing, especially the fact that it actually translates more accurately as little red book. Yeah,
Right.
apparently.
Is that
you know,
right?
yeah, apparently.
That was where the bad people's names go.
Yeah. Well, no, because that was Mao's thing, innit? It was his
Right.
Bible. And that,
Right.
you had to have a copy of it on you at all times, or you could get taken down the
Oh.
police station and beaten up, or worse.
I switched
You
to
know.
it. Well, I mean, I didn't switch to it. I installed it because I wanted to see what the hubbub was about, as most people probably. Roundabout the whole thing, the time the whole thing went down, and it was all right. It's a little
It
different.
was 12 hours, Bill. You
Yeah,
couldn't go
well,
without
nobody
TikTok
knew
for
it
like
was only going to
12
be 12
hours.
Some people didn't even know it was down because they hadn't been on it that day.
Well, because they live outside of their phones sometimes.
Not many people, let's be honest.
Oh, come
yeah,
on.
you got to get
You're
in your
not
car
on
and
your
drive
phone
to
right
find
now,
those
are you,
people.
Majid?
No, I'm not. I'm on 2 phones right now.
Ah,
Making content for other people to watch on
that's
their
right.
phones.
Double the tick and double the talk.
Yes. Remember to hit that subscribe button.
Twice. Wait, that unsubscribes you? No.
No.
No, but I did because I am convinced because I've got friends. Well, you're just giving your data to China, and China's not our friend. Like, dude, everything they're gonna get. Am I right about this? Everything they're gonna get from TikTok, they can get 1,000 other ways. You know, the
You
the
just
data
buy from
is
a data
out there.
broker.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
honestly.
It's not complicated.
Well, the irony of people saying, "Oh, you're just giving all your data to China," but at the same time, let's surveil this population to the nth degree with executive orders, seems to be lost on quite a few people.
It ain't lost on me.
But do you know
No.
what I mean?
I'm not
It's
huge
not.
on.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say about TikTok. I'm not big on conspiracy theories usually, but I genuinely believe.
right here. It is
I genuinely believe this was simply because when they took it down, they named the new president by name. They made it look like he was swooping
the
in to be
political
the
thing?
hero. That it was, oh my goodness, this order that took it offline, and now, in his earliest hours as president, he's coming in to save the day. And that, I mean, I very much have a sense that was definitely the case.
Well, everybody
Because
else
why
kissed the
take it
ring,
down
why
for
shouldn't
such a
they?
short amount of time?
Yeah, well, I mean,
But no-
also, it shows how easy it is to please a narcissist, isn't it? Because
Oh,
that's
well,
basically, yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
so
I think that was.
so they figured it out pretty quickly, right? You
I
know, the
mean,
way
and
to do this is
Biden-
to do it like this.
Biden had even said that there wasn't going to be any real repercussions if they didn't shut off on that date. It was very much, I think, a staged thing.
Hmm.
And
Political stunt.
you had this uproar, outcry, and then we'll make it all better, and so that's my one conspiracy theory. So
I think it's twofold. I think the whole statement and letting Trump be the savior was for Trump and people that really like him. And then the other was they know damn well that just Americans in general don't like being told what to do. And please understand, we love doing what we're told to do. We love it, except for when we don't want to do it. And then you have the other half of the people that don't particularly care for Trump, but also don't like being told that they have to download a new app now. And that was enough, man. That was the entire population of TikTok that even cared even a tiny little bit about TikTok. You're going to make me go to Instagram Reels? Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, the algorithm may suck more because they, I don't know, whatever reason. But yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's the same thing like Brexit. I remember when...
Open how? Yeah, because like I'd heard that like TikTok had less censorship on it. No. The platform that popularized the term unalive because you cannot say the other word is not the bastion of free speech that you might think it is just because you like the app. I think people were giving TikTok a whole lot of latitude on like what it was and what it could do and the change that it represented, just because they liked the app and they liked scrolling and liked watching videos that they liked to watch.
I
It was the algorithm. They figured out faster than anybody else how to scratch your little itch. It would figure out you faster than you could figure out you. That was smart. That was very good, and good is a relative term here. It was very productive of them
Did you find
to
that
have
to be the
figured that out.
case, though? Have you
Yeah.
tried it, and did you find that to be the case?
Yep.
Really?
I've tried it, dude,
3
it'll
times.
pinpoint you. Yeah, I know, but
No.
you're
I
adversarial,
tried it
dude.
3 times.
You'll do things
What
to
will
try
I
and trick
do?
the algorithm, and it will follow those threads, man, because you're telling it
What will I
essentially.
do? I installed it. It started showing me stuff. Everything it showed me was completely stupid garbage.
Exactly.
I
There you
just kept
go.
swiping and swiping and
Right.
swiping and swiping.
You
Never
didn't
once
find
did it land on anything that was interesting.
Right. But you're a hard man to please. And that's I think that's kind of it, right? Like search for something that you think you would
I
like,
did
type
try
in
to search for
Linux
something.
and
Yeah, I did.
go through Right. So
I'm telling you, I spent hours with it, and I was just completely baffled by how it could possibly be so addictive.
you might be one of those guys that just there's no content for you there.
Well, and I'm the
But
same way with Twitter. I have never gotten Twitter.
see, then
Never,
again,
ever once.
maybe you're
I'll
just
sit there
not
and I'm like,
social
"Why am I
media.
looking at this?" I'm like scrolling. I'm like, "Why do I care about anything I'm looking at in the last 15 minutes? Like, this
Exactly.
is all complete stupid, like
There you
ethereal
go.
garbage that doesn't matter at all to anyone." Like,
Yeah, to the other 99% though, that
I know.
don't have that view of social media.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it'll figure you out, dude. It really will. And it's not I know Eric. I know
No, I'm
where
grossed out
he's
by
sitting.
people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I was
that
gonna
is
say,
truly the case. I'm
being
like,
a
I'm sure
misanthrope on social media don't generally go well together.
I'm sure that they've figured out people like me and have just, like, written me off and said, "We're never gonna win with people like that. There's so few of them anyway, so let's," there's
Yeah,
no
just
need
like Linux users.
to use them. And I go through this with every new social platform. Like I'm on Blue Sky, same thing. I'm like, "Why in the hell did I join this?" Like, I followed all the people I thought I should follow, and I'm just like, "I don't care
Would
that
you
you got a
rather
dog. I don't care that you washed your car. I don't care. Like, none of this is important. Why do I give a I I'm a terrible person. I get it.
you just don't have the penchant for parasocial relationships. That's it.
I guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
I don't
good
know.
point.
It's
That's a good point. I saw the thing I got from Twitter that I actually enjoyed from it. I don't use it anymore, but was that I could actually have a direct line of contact to a company or like some spokesperson to a company where I could see if they were having problems with their service
yeah.
or I could see like that type of, flat level communication instead of having to go through some sort of support structure. That was helpful.
Yeah.
But everything else, the social aspect of it didn't did nothing for me.
Yeah, there's now a diaspora of we don't know what the social media is right now. Like, where's the real one? Because Twitter used to be the real one. It is not the real one anymore.
But what do you guys? I mean, have you tried Blue Sky? Do you like Mastodon? Do
So
you
I
like?
so I signed up for Blue Sky, and it just reminded me of an early Twitter.
That's what it
In
is. Yeah.
in both good aspects and bad aspects. Good aspects in the sense that you didn't see as much of the hate that you do at the minute
Just give it time.
on X. But yeah,
Give it time.
I'm
It's
sure that
already full of bots. It's
yeah.
already 100. I've gotten. I'm not kidding you. Like I've never
Eric,
posted anything on there, but
here's
I've
the thing,
already
though.
gotten 50 invites from bots.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
like,
why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do they allow this to happen?
I don't subscribe to the idea of the dead internet theory fully, but
I'm
part.
close.
Well, but so I'm with you, right? Like, there is an incentive, just like spam, dude. There is an incentive to have bots pushing public opinion one way or the other. It is $1 billion business,
But who
and
listens to that shit?
everybody, you're not
Why?
the
Unfortunately,
guy.
That's
Are
why
they
people make the
idiots? Are
shit.
they completely stupid? Like I just
No,
don't get
that's
it.
the thing. They don't care about it. It just happens. And
How do you
one way
look
or
at a
the
bot
other,
account that's like a pretty girl or a loud shouty voice or like just some completely like almost like a caricature of what a human being would behave like, and
yeah.
you go, oh, that's relevant. That's something I need to see.
Well, see, but
I do
that's
not
the thing,
understand
though,
why.
is that
So
the algorithm is figuring you out. So on Blue Sky, there's less of one. But in general, a lot of these social media platforms are feeling you out. If you click on that thing, if you like it, if you boost it, if you click on it and go into it to read the comments or whatever, it's noting all of that. So now it knows that if it shows you that stuff, you're likely to click on it. And then it shows ads that are relevant. So they're making money directly. They're also pushing your eyeballs toward more of that content to keep you more engaged and to keep you in that cycle of scroll and scroll and scroll.
Mm.
This is what TikTok was so good at. You are not the guy, but
I
everybody
guess.
else was like, wow, turns out I
But
figured out I was
here's my
trans on
stance
the
on it
thing.
too. There are billions of people on that platform. There has got to be content on there that I would actually respond to and enjoy. If the algorithm is so good at figuring people out, is it just that I'm so different in the way
Yes.
that I consume it,
Yeah.
or
So I
But
mean,
it's
like
both.
all things, whenever you have a normal distribution of
He's
anything,
not
whether
normal. That's the problem.
no, but I'm saying even if you have a
I'll
normal
I'm in with you on
distribution,
that.
yeah, no, but even if you have a normal distribution, he's always going to have 2.5 and 2.5% of people who are outside the the main body, as it were. Just this is just basic statistics and
He's
math.
a booger on the outside of the
Yeah.
nose. Mm,
So even then,
I hate
you're going to
those.
get 5% of people who are not going to be engaged.
you're it.
That's assuming you're in the, as I said, that's assuming you're in the normal category. Then if you got the people outside that as well, so you got to double it really. Yeah. But the thing is that there are so many people who are within those within that cohort of people who will respond, who will stick with whether it's TikTok, Blue Sky, whatever it might be, that it's worth it for the companies that even if they lose 5 to 10% of people, and I'm sure that's actually much lower in reality, but just for the sake of argument, that the other 95% makes so much more money for them and so much more value for them that they don't really care that there are these people that it doesn't work for.
Like the whale principle or whatever.
Yeah.
You have
Just
enough
going back.
power
Yeah.
users.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to the Blue Sky thing. What I was well, yes, as I said, it's a bit like an early Twitter. It doesn't have as much of the hate. It is though very
Yet.
partisan. It is very partisan. It's very definitely
Oh, it's an echo
left.
chamber.
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
doubt.
It's very much left leaning and whatever. And I'm left leaning, but still, even I'm like, anyway.
Well, your
And
left
then,
and our left are a little different.
well, that's true. And then, what was the other thing I was going to mention? The thing that I found with Twitter right at the beginning, 2009, 2010, whatever, you did have to engage a bit with it to make it, useful for you. And I just never had the time or the
Does
inclination
engage
or
mean posting? And so here's part
No,
of
no,
what I
just
think
liking,
maybe
just liking.
posting, commenting, liking, all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
It was enough to like stuff. It was enough.
Okay,
That
okay.
that would help train the algorithm in your way. Otherwise, it has to
the
go off the
platform
little
that I
signals
get?
of waiting
and
on
so
a
but
post,
and so
clicking on a
because Blue
post.
Sky is so early on, relatively speaking, and its algorithm isn't as mature as other platforms, you do still find it a bit haphazard. Like, again, why am I seeing this crap? Why am I seeing this?
Mhm.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if you are willing to put the effort in, because some people are, then I'm sure it will, work out really well for you. I just haven't been bothered to. I've got
I
social
just
media
clicked
fatigue.
the
I've got social media fatigue as it is. I mean,
One
something that I do like, which is Mastodon. Even that, which I do try and partake in and engage with. It's just haven't got the time or the inclination, really.
I feel like Mastodon is just a bunch of nerds, frankly. I mean, not to be a jerk about it, but and I'm
Well,
sure
you're
that's
being a
a
jerk
lot to do
about
with
it.
whom.
Yeah,
I
I don't
feel like
mind that
that's
it's a
a lot.
bunch of nerds. I
man.
don't mind that it's a bunch of
Yeah.
nerds because I am a nerd, and so it is vaguely
Right.
interesting stuff
But
for me. But
it
even then,
feels like it's
Well, did you guys
That's exactly
participate
what it
in-
is, though.
Did you participate in Google Plus back in the day?
yes,
Because to
Never.
me, it feels kind of
I
like a
did.
continuation. Google Plus felt more like a place for us.
Eric's the guy that sits on the bench and reads the newspaper and grumbles at the pigeons. What are they doing so close to me? I'm just trying to read this article.
Actually, okay, listen, the one social media, and I don't even know if I guess it is technically social media platform.
ICQ, where you had to find your
Oh
friends.
my gosh, that was a good one.
is Reddit. I actually think Reddit does a good job.
Oh, it's anonymous,
in
dude.
general.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, in general, if I just go on Reddit, based on the things that I've followed, which is just a multitude of like weird stuff.
List them out so TikTok can know.
Yeah, and it does a pretty good job. Like the algorithm will show me just things that are not even necessarily tangentially related, but just kind of. And it's just enough. And I don't know that like if I have to agree that an algorithm or some sort of automated method of presenting me with information is doing a passable job, then Reddit has got to be the only one. So,
a bit more
and I actually do
content,
find
though.
myself if I'm on any system where I'm going to sit there and scroll for more than 2 minutes and get frustrated, it's probably Reddit because I can go for probably 20 minutes on Reddit and keep, I
20
love things
minutes?
like am I the asshole, and like there's some ones on there that I just think it's all very social.
Okay, boom, got you. You know that like 80% of the posts on Am I the Asshole and all like Am I Overreacting, all of those drama subreddits,
Yeah.
you know they're generated by ChatGPT, right? They're all
Most of them, yes.
yes,
Yes,
right.
I
So
understand that.
you've lost the game. You've played into social media. You're the guy now.
This is where you turn him on to Lemmy, Leo.
Oh no, he wouldn't
God,
do it.
not
He wouldn't. He
another
has to
one,
pick a
no.
server. Oh God, I have to pick a rando server and then do
No,
a
I'm already
for
on one.
subreddits.
I'm already on one, and I'm in Lemmy already.
One.
and
You
I
subbed to
spend-
one thing, and we're like, it
I gotta
doesn't
know what that
me.
one
and then you
Lemmy
logged
is.
out.
I haven't
Why-
tried Lemmy
so-
actually.
I guess
But I'll
that's the
check
thing
that
too.
out.
Is I've never felt like the time I've spent on social media trying to tell it what I want has led to anything meaningful and worthwhile for the time that I've traded to do it.
You are giving it too much credit. Maybe that's the difference. That
Or
you
expecting too
really
much out
truly
of it.
expect value out of this stuff.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody else do that. They're just watching a cat fall
Is it
over
just
and they're
a
like,
time
look at
killer?
it. Is it
Is
what?
it like you have nothing better to do? It's a time
Yes.
killer. So you're just
For a
gonna
lot of
sit
people,
there
yeah.
like-
See, here's
Yeah.
the thing, though, that it starts out that way, and then people end up addicted to it. Like they enjoy the dopamine hit that you get from like, ooh, new video, ooh, new video, ooh, new video, and they fall into the little weird whirlpool of I'm never getting out. That's why I spend 3 hours
Yeah.
on TikTok a day, kind of thing. And it's
The
not
one
so great.
positive thing I saw from TikTok getting shut down was it seemed like there were a lot of like Gen Z younger people who were like, I have a real problem with TikTok. Like I panicked when I heard it was going to be taken down.
Yeah.
And I realize now that I have a problem, so I'm going to actually try to do something about it. Like that I thought was a positive outcome. And then of course it was disappointing that all those people probably 12 hours later were like, back, so.
Yeah. Well, they were always gonna, because
yeah, that's true.
like the things like that don't really stick unless you really, really want them to. And as soon as TikTok comes back, it's like, well, I don't have to. So,
Well, I'm so ignorant that I didn't realize that people were like shopping on there, that they're doing like all these different, like
Making a
so
living on
much
there.
of their life.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
big business.
exactly.
hold on,
I-
shopping? How do you do that?
Oh, they sell those Hobby Bear shoes all day long on there. I bought a pair.
Wait, but then you
My
still
wife
have to
bought
go to a
pair.
website.
I guess
No,
you
and
click
then-
No,
through or
they've got
whatever,
their
but
own.
yeah.
They got their own store on there and everything.
Oh, it's like YouTube down at the bottom where you can like buy the T-shirt from under the video.
Well,
kinda thing.
no, they've got their own store built into the app. It's the TikTok shop, they call it. And you can order directly on that app. And it's actually gotten more and more robust as time goes on with,
Right. You can't do that on YouTube?
I don't know. I assume
Yeah,
there's
because
some sort
like
of,
I know like the bigger places or whatever, like the LTT shop, blah 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 blah, and you can click like right below the video.
but you're
and
not
it's like,
connecting with TikTok. You're not connecting to a third party shop. You're dealing
don't-
directly
don't-
with the TikTok shop.
maybe. Okay, I don't know enough about the YouTube shop to know that for sure, but I was under the impression that you were buying it, like, yeah, okay.
Well, it's
so-
just a marketplace, isn't it? It's. I mean, yeah, the people.
Oh,
want
that
to
makes
sell their
sense. They just
stuff.
hook it up directly to Temu.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it follows some of the same
Probably.
sort of.
Why is this shirt $6?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a story about enterprise.
Yeah, and it
Majid,
kind of.
isn't this where you say four old guys talk about social media?
No, I'm not old.
There you
I'm
go.
not old.
Mike.
You're not.
We're all olds.
Yeah, we are old.
Sorry.
How
brother.
does this new internet work?
Let me
I
ask you
don't know
something.
how what's going on around here. Get off my lawn, you
I was just gonna
hippies.
say, does it
That's
bother
right.
you when people walk in your grass when they're like on the sidewalk and then they step onto your grass?
The only reason,
Not a bit.
okay, I'm one of those jerks on the block that let my grass grow, but like on purpose, because I like butterflies and bugs and stuff, and I plant like wildflower on purpose. So the only reason that I get mad that anybody would walk on my grass is because my grass is not grass; it's flowers, and there are butterflies there, man.
Ain't got no grass
mess
down
it
there,
up,
do you?
Bro,
Yeah.
let them pollinate. Quit.
I just came from
That's
Texas, and within the span of a day, I went from 85 degrees to 38 degrees.
Yeah. Oh, that was. Oh,
Sounds
when
about
was
right.
that? That was this last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was
It's
I was
still
down
hard to
by
believe.
Corpus Christi, and it's still summer. Summer never stopped down there. It's kind of nice.
No, it's summer
I
right
was-
now. It's 80,
Yeah.
85 right now.
Flipping heck, man.
Dude,
That's
oh,
what I
don't
need.
worry. Sunday, the low will be like 35. So it'll be
Yeah.
almost freezing.
Almost, but not
It
quite.
always freaks me out. Like I forget when I'll look at a map because of something my daughter's working on at school or something, and just exactly how huge Texas is.
It's massive.
Like just how absolutely massive it is land mass wise.
yeah.
Like, it's
Without
incredible.
without a partner, you're not driving across it in a day.
Yeah.
You're not.
And it used to be real bad for trucks back in the day. It went, you remember, Leo, the speed limit signs, there used to be like 5 of them because you had a day and night speed limit, and then you had a separate truck speed limit, and
Yeah.
we had to go like 55 mile an hour all the way across Texas back in
I mean,
the
that's
90s.
just a way of getting more and more car parking fines. It's not car parking.
Nah,
Speed limit
man.
fines, isn't it?
more and more
That's what
revenue.
it's
Texas is the freest state in the nation. All right, we got all kinds of freedoms except for you can't buy this and you can't buy that. And you can't do it after 9 o'clock and you can't do it on Sundays. But you can't also do it before 10 o'clock, and then you can't, and then you got to spin around 12 times before you do it, and then 6 times the other direction after you do it. Oh, dude, it's insane. Oh my God.
But you guys have
just-
Texas pecan coffee down there, and it is glorious. Little town called
dude, it is.
Victoria. There's a place called the Texan, and they got Texas pecan coffee, and it is fantastic. They do not sell it online, though, and I find that to be a travesty. Anyway, I digress.
I mean, I can look. I know it may not be that specific, whatever brand, but HEB has a Texas pecan and it's glorious, and I can just mail you some.
I might look that up. because I need.
I'm right here. Like you don't gotta look it up. You
Hey.
just no. You just need to look up with your eyes and
Well,
see.
go ahead
me.
then.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, because you can't buy this stuff that they sell. My friend that lives in Kentucky, he got a hold of their corporate office and talked them into sending him some because they haven't set up like an e-commerce thing yet. They just sell it in their store and they run out of it as soon as they put like a dozen boxes of K-cups up on the thing. They run out of it almost instantly.
K-cups.
And you can't make it very well with the K-cups because I bought a box of them, and unless you've got a
They
Keurig
all taste like trash. Like the only thing that doesn't taste like trash is the hot chocolate, and that's because it's just sugar and water. That's it. And of course, it tastes like hot chocolate. It's all it can taste like.
I don't know.
I
To me,
hate Keurigs,
I've
man.
been using one for years.
Oh, you're defending your own Keurig upstairs.
Well,
aren't
I
you?
mean, I've got the little thing to where I can put my own grounds in it, and I grind my own coffee and make them that way. And depending on the coffee.
So you're doing it exactly the way that Keurig has basically said you should not do it.
Well, then they go and they make the thing that I need to do that. So
because everybody got mad that it was like, oh, they put a chip, they put a literal electronics in every single one of the cups, and then people were like, it's not cool, and that was a good thing, but yeah.
Have they come up with a reusable one yet?
Yes,
yeah,
it's
that's what
called.
I'm talking about. They make one that you pull the little basket out of it and you fill it with the grounds and then screw it together.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
See, the way that you feel, Eric, about people on social media is the way that I feel about people not doing the extra 30 seconds worth of work get
I do
fantastic
pour over
cup of coffee. Yes.
I do a little pour over. It's beautiful.
We're the same guy, I think.
I was just getting ready to ask. So what do you want us to do? Pour it through a paper filter? Is that what you want?
No, it's not a
you've got
paper filter.
Okay.
Bill, you've got so
It's a
many
metal filter.
options.
How about well, I've got,
No,
I don't have
listen,
that, but
Doc.
I've got a French press, and it's all right.
I've got this is what I do. I have an electric tea kettle that gets the water to 208 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect, exact temperature it needs to be. Got a little pour over, 400 milliliter coffee flask. It's got a metal mesh basket, so there's no paper flavor. Put in 2 tablespoons of coffee. You bloom it. You put a little bit of hot water and let it sit for a minute, and then you fill it and you do 350, 400 milliliters from that 2 scoops, and it is the absolute perfect cup of coffee you'll ever drink.
Okay, I got to try that.
Yeah.
Where do you get
I'll send you the one I got off of Amazon.
outside of
It's like a
England? Where do you
$10 thing.
get an electric kettle? Because I have literally
You
searched.
can get them here.
Go to Target, man.
Target
They're
sells
like
electric kettles?
$19.99.
The one I got has a spout, like a spigot. So
Yeah.
it's, instead of like a giant pitcher,
A
it's
gooseneck?
more like it's a gooseneck spigot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should just kind of, the nice thing about that is you can swirl it and pour around the filter to kind of get all the coffee to keep going to the bottom.
Yeah.
And Leo's
So
right. It takes 4 minutes to boil the kettle. It takes 2.5 minutes to pour the water over the
I go
thing.
pee
So
in that
within-
time. I go pee
Right.
and then I
So
come back and it's
in less
ready.
than like 5-6 minutes, you have the absolute perfect cup of coffee. No waste, no nothing. Like literally, the only waste is the grounds, which we end up putting out in the yard as like a fertilizer kind of thing.
For the gardeners around, you should also add crushed up eggs to replenish the calcium that the coffee would strip out of the ground.
So watch this
So-
space.
Little pro tip.
Eric's going to
there,
link me to
little pro
all
tip.
the shit he just talked about, and I'm going to buy this.
I do something a little different. I do 1 cup at a time. It's basically a little pour over. It fits right on top of most mugs. I do use a paper filter, but everything else is the same. Everything else is the same.
Gotcha. I actually think paper gives it a flavor, which is the only reason I don't use paper.
Interesting.
What
And
affects
that's
Is
probably
it-
in
is
my
it-
head. But
Is it like a bleached, unbleached kind of thing? You tried the ones that are all
It
brown?
I think it
does.
soaks up the
Both.
oils.
it just
That
has
is-
it has it. Yeah.
Yep. That's actually very true of that. And so if I want that flavor, I'll use a French press.
Yeah.
But if I'm just looking for a cup of coffee, then pour over with a filter. Yeah.
Of
I'm
course.
watching my cholesterol. Turns out that coffee oils will what's the word? Like not cause it, but help.
Destabilize or
Basically, yeah.
so I was always the guy that got the metal basket. If I had an automatic drip coffee maker, if I was forced to make my coffee that way, I'd get the metal basket. That way,
Yeah.
at least you're getting a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because
I've been on all sides of the extremes, man. All of the coffee that you can get at a Starbucks, the different ways that you can have it or whatever. I have all those machines and contraptions and things like that, and I've just settled
the
into
best.
pour over.
Okay, so you have my attention.
Oh yeah, man. The espresso machine though, I will tell you, the espresso machine is a different kind of cup of coffee than you can get from any other machine.
Yeah,
Dude, the creaminess, especially if you like spend the time to actually froth the milk and do the entire process. You don't have to draw the heart, but everything else, oh, it's good. It's really good.
I like that too. I don't know how many years I was drinking it the way Moss drinks it. Moss makes his
The
coffee.
mud?
His coffee is utilitarian.
Yeah.
His that percolator, if you've ever seen it, that percolator he's got is about what I remember them having in the mess hall in the Army. A big old thing that was made to like make coffee for about 7,000
What's funny
people.
about a percolator, though, is if I'm not mistaken, it is extremely similar to the Italian espresso type coffee that you can make in that little tall kettle-looking thing. So you put like the coffee in the top and the water in the bottom, and as the water heats up, it expands and comes up through the thing, and then creates like this espresso-like strong coffee, and you just pour it out.
Well, does it capture it at that point, or does it just keep sending it through and sending it through? Because that's the whole problem.
Well, no, you're supposed to pay attention to it. You're like, it will just keep going over and over until it evaporates, but you need to like have timing it. You need to be timing it.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, oh, this is where I like it or whatever, and you pop it off and you pour it out. Yeah, so I'm telling you, I have all the contraptions, man. They're all good in their own way, but it very much depends on the effort that you want to put in.
And there it is.
Stanley makes one for camping that I've wanted to try. It's a little pour over set where it's the mug underneath and then the filter in the top, and it's not just a regular mesh filter. It's actually sort of this like it's a different setup, and it's like $45, which is why I haven't bought it, because I already have one.
You talking about that thing? It kind of looks like an hourglass where it's okay, yeah.
I'll send it to you.
All right.
You just get an AeroPress. That is like the perfect. It's a perfect camping contraption, man. Like it's tiny. It fits on top of any cup, whatever. All you need is boiling water, and then you have yourself a great cup of coffee. It's pretty good.
Let me see.
Okay, Eric just linked me to these devices.
Well, that's the that's the one that I was talking about. I don't have that one. I'll send you the one that I do have.
The Stanley one you don't have, or the one on the top?
No, I don't have that one. I just have a pour over. It's a simple metal flask, and then glass borosilica flask, and then a metal. I'll send you the equivalent.
People take their coffee seriously these days. No doubt about it.
Yeah, no, that's what's beautiful about this. There's nothing pretentious or fancy or any. It is the simplest possible way to take ground coffee. If I was a snob about it, I'd be grinding my own beans. I'd be like,
You mean you're not grinding your own beans?
I'm not.
Oh my lord!
I
actually really like the coffee from Aldi.
This is exactly what the Gentoo guy would say. It's like, well, I mean, if I was being a snob about it, I would be compiling my own kernel. I don't do that, but everything else.
What happened to that screen fetch behind your head there, Leo?
What's that?
What happened to that screen fetch behind your head there?
Oh, it's still Gentoo. I just don't have it on right now.
Oh, cool.
I don't know about you guys, but I grew up. My family made the weakest, most pathetic version of coffee you could ever imagine. My grandfather drank Sanka, and the rest of my family would use like just enough coffee to make the whole pot of water barely brown.
Yeah.
Like it was so weak and pathetic. And like, so when I actually started drinking real coffee in high school, whenever I worked I got a job at Bob Evans as a busboy when I was like 16. But I would drink real coffee when I was there, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And at the end of the night, instead of, when you're supposed to dump out and of course this is like too late in the night to be drinking coffee, but I'd fill up a giant jug of coffee because you're supposed to dump it out. I'm like, I'm taking it with me.
Right on.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, so I'm not pretentious when it comes to coffee, but I do think Keurig that it is like the most wasteful, stupid thing on the planet. Like,
You hear that, Bill?
Let's-
He's calling
No,
you
he's
wasteful and
absolutely
stupid.
right. The amount of
You know.
waste that you're generating with all the K cups and that, it almost feels
As he throws like electronics back behind his head into a big massive pile that's leaching into the ground. It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
it's one of those things like, well, if I don't do it, somebody else will. But I don't know. It is. You're right, though.
I just wish it wasn't the de facto, like when I go to an office or I go to they're everywhere. You know what I mean? And if it was like
Yeah.
something that was a smaller footprint or a smaller impact, then I probably wouldn't care as much. But it really has become, in many ways, like the de facto way to do coffee service when you're doing individual things. I get that. It makes sense, right? You're one cup of coffee, you're not going to brew a whole pot, that kind of thing. But
Yeah, you're hitting everybody's taste because everybody always has that little Christmas tree of all the different flavors.
Guilty.
But you're
Yeah.
right, man. The flavors are terrible.
They're
so
a
bad.
pale comparison to whatever it is that it says on the top, but
Yep.
it's a serviceable cup of coffee. So, I mean, you got me there. It's a serviceable cup. You can drink it. It won't make you sick. So
Yeah.
it's good enough for most.
I can't
yeah.
agree. I've always thought each K cup to me always tasted like after you open that bag of grounds up, that very first cup that you would make.
Really?
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I like them. I don't like
Bill,
the
have you been to the
wastefulness.
doctor lately to like an ENT specifically for the nose?
Yeah, well,
Oh, that reminds me, Eric. So
Yes.
last time I went to the barbers, right, the Turkish barbers, I actually had that thing, where they put the wax in your nose and your ears.
Yeah.
I did that, and because the guy was like, do you want this as well? And I was like, well, yeah, go on, why not? Why not try it out? So he puts it in, and it's like, it's so fine. This is not particularly
Nice and
painful or
warm.
anything like that. It's nice and warm, exactly like that. Oh my god, when it came to ripping it out, it's like
Did it come out
the
in
worst
one?
night. Huh?
Did it come out in one? Like it was good?
No, it was
Oh, I knew it.
like
Ah!
that, yeah. And then I was like, this is one of the most painful experiences I've ever been through. Yeah, and I've had major surgery.
Did it make your eyes water?
It made my eyes water,
Yeah,
and I sat there
yeah.
thinking, why have I done this? And then the thing that was the most interesting though was the minute I walked out, I'm like, oh, I can smell stuff again.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice deep breaths I can
all-
take.
It's all in your head, man. It's just
I
because all the
imagine.
pain is over.
Yeah, I don't know, but since then it's like all my sinuses are now nice and clear. I'm still not going to do it again. But
you just had that. You had that epiphany when people almost die and they're like, "I'm gonna live life to the fullest, man." That's what it was. You thought you were dying.
yeah, that was I suppose it was worth doing, but I'm not going to do it again. But I remembered Eric straight afterwards, and I thought, I need to tell Eric this.
I wonder if they do it for your ears too.
Yeah, they did.
Ah,
They did it for my ears as well. Didn't work as well apparently, but then that's partly because there wasn't actually that much hair there either. So, I mean, you're just ripping skin off, really.
Yeah, and the little peach fuzz you got in there. I mean, the stuff that's meant to feel.
Yeah.
I'd say you got about 7 more years, and then then you'll be looking for the trimmers on Amazon.
Oh,
Some are
God.
better than others.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've
Now we're
already
gonna-
got beard trim.
We're gonna go
So-
through the coffee conversation, but with nose hair trimmers now.
Yeah, and not to be gross, I did find that fascinating. The reason I asked Majid about it in the first place is because I actually saw the way they do ear hair is they take a cotton ball soaked in alcohol and then just like tap it to your ear and to burn off the hair basically. And it's actually a really smart way to do it
with
because
fire.
how else do you? Yeah, with fire.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So when people say their ears are
fire.
burning, hey, see how we brought this round to the beginning?
Yeah, they
Full
were
circle,
talking
baby.
about me the whole time. Ah.
Well, listen, the problem, the absolute truth is that I think I got it maybe to early 20s before I started needing that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if that's my heritage or what, but I know a lot of men, it doesn't happen until you're older. where you've got to start dealing
No, I'm
with like
Indian,
weird
where
hair and
it's
stuff.
it's God's idea of a joke. Put the hairiest people in the world in the hottest part of the world.
Yeah, right.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah,
Right. This is gonna end
it's like
well. But,
I just grew this morning. What are you on about? Do you know what I mean?
I shaved 2 hours ago.
yeah. Oh goodness.
This is
Yeah,
my
I had a
11
Sikh
a.m.
friend. I had
shadow.
a Sikh friend, and yeah, he had the most magnificent beard in the entire world. I was so jealous. I'm like, dude, I cannot. My heritage does not allow me to grow facial hair like that. Sorry. I wish. I can't do it. It doesn't grow in on my cheeks. I'll let it grow for months, and it's like I am
It's
not
like,
Grizzly
oh,
Adams.
have you hit puberty?
Only halfway.
Apparently not. So hey, has anybody done anything with Linux?
Oh yeah,
Oh
Linux.
yeah, we're supposed to be talking about Linux, aren't we? Well, the only Linux adjacent thing I've been doing is I gave up on Jellyfin completely and I went for Plex. And
Oh,
Plex is
look at that.
and Plex is
What
not
was
as
it?
easy that people
Oh
people
my
say.
gosh.
But what
am
was
I
it
on.
gonna do?
Wait a
specifically
minute.
that you felt was missing in Jellyfin?
No, it's not that I was missing. I just couldn't. I couldn't get my head around compose files, and I was just making too many
Oh,
mistakes. And in the end,
Docker.
yeah,
Oh,
and I
you
just
were running it in okay, okay.
yeah,
On
and
a
that's then
Synology.
then I just gave up, and I just thought, oh, yeah, everybody else uses Plex. Why not use Plex? And it's quite buggy. I'll tell you that.
No,
You know, and
that's your server.
okay, well, it might be my server as well, but it's no, it
Because you've
just
got broken hard drives in there, man. Don't you have a hard drive you still need to replace?
oh no, it's sorted now. It's all
Okay,
sorted.
all right. All right, so finish talking about Plex, and then I'll
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
No, no,
poke
no.
you about
So,
hard drives.
yeah, so there was all sorts of, it took like a good 24 hours of, fiddling this, fiddling that, manage library access this, your NAS is offline, this is the back, and then that's back. And then, there was like a 5-minute window when it seemed to be working brilliantly. And then again, like just now, I tried to access it and it's like, oh, your Plex server is not available from outside of your home network. And it's like, well, why? It's like, because you've disabled remote access. No, I haven't. I've
Port
specifically
forwarding.
enabled it.
Yeah. Well, you have to enable it, and then you have to forward a port.
Yeah, so I've done all that. It just seems to be a bit random. It works when it wants to work, and when it doesn't, it doesn't.
So Plex
Interesting.
was also a Docker file, and you just made it work better, or
No.
it was
But
easier. Or?
no, Plex was just a package for the NAS on the NAS.
Yeah,
Oh,
Plex is supported. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Plex is supported on Synology.
There's no
Now-
Jellyfin for Synology.
The only way that I could see to get it on was through Docker.
Was the Docker? Okay.
I mean,
I
No,
think
it's
everything.
probably you're
pretty
probably
sure.
right. I don't know.
I know it's tough. The whole thing with the clients is a little bit hit or miss because the thing about Plex is you can install it on a smart TV, and the only way you're going to get Jellyfin on a smart TV is if it's one of them that's running, I don't know, Roku or Fire TV or even Google TV built right in.
I mean, and when it works, it does work quite well. So like I can use the cast protocol to cast stuff to my Chromecast, for example. So when it works, it's good, but it's just, I don't know whether maybe I need to, well, obviously I need to learn a bit more as usual, because this is the first time I've actually set up Plex.
Well, are you strictly using it to play your locally stored files, or are you okay?
No, just my locally, so just my completely and utterly 100% legally downloaded content.
For sure. Linux
take
ISOs. Yeah.
Linux
I take
ISOs.
it you followed so on Jellyfin's site there's a under their docs there's a Synology.
Yeah, I use that.
But it's Docker. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is no. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything native. I've used Plex for what 15 years? 10? It's got to be at least 10, right? I mean, I've been using Plex for a long time. Before there was Plex Pass, before there was anything remotely like what it is today, where it was very much like Jellyfin actually. And I used it a lot because I was traveling and I would just use it to stream content. The magic of it was I could host it on my home system and it could, punch through and give me a public facing way to get to that, to that media. So yeah, and I bought the Plex Pass lifetime thing.
Yep.
years ago. And,
Back when it was
yes,
$70. Yeah.
yep.
I will
And
say
yes,
this about the whole jellyfin thing, and I don't know if this was your problem or not, but I do know that people are going to run into trouble with the SSL if you're trying to make it internet facing by using the Docker container, because the Docker by itself cannot really negotiate the SSL. It relies on an intermediary like a reverse proxy to handle the SSL, or probably you could probably use a you could probably use Cloudflare to pull it off too. But without
I mean,
those
to be
things in
fair, the fact
place,
that to be fair, the fact that I can't access it outside my local network isn't a big deal for me.
Well,
You know,
stop. Before you go on with that, check the enable relay box. This allows Plex to punch a hole from your server to the internet through Plex.tv. So that means any app anywhere in the world, you don't have to do anything proxy. You don't have to do anything port forwardy. You don't have to do anything networky. You set up Plex, you check the box, Plex handles it. It will route you through to your own server.
yeah. And I know that people would prefer to run Jellyfin because it's open source, and I get that. And I have Jellyfin and Plex running, and I will use them both interchangeably depending on where I'm watching and what I'm watching. I have no problem with it, but I do appreciate that Plex is providing something so complete. The fact that I can watch, live TV, which is really just streaming, whatever. But and that they have content that you can watch and has advertisements. But it's basically doing the same things that like major providers are doing. But I still feel like Plex is a relatively small company. And I like their software. I think they have always done a really good job on their media, the matching, and like I love that I can see who the actors are and what other other things they've been in or whether they've directed. Like it is such a complete experience when you're watching, particularly movies, that Jellyfin gets some of that, but it's just not the same. And
Asterisk on your live TV thing. I have an HD home run that does actually give me for real local
that's
live
true.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
and you got
Yeah.
DVR
Yep.
capabilities with
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Jellyfin.
I record
Plex is-
wrestling.
And
So Plex is an
the whole
incredibly
thing
powerful
about metadata with actors and stuff like that, you do have that. It connects. Well, you actually have control over what services it scrapes to get the metadata.
Yep. Yeah, I just I've had nothing but good experiences, and that's one of the evergreen pieces of software that I've just used for such a long time that I can't imagine. And the fact that it allows me to serve up all of my local stuff and then is now mixing in all of the, online services. And I think in terms of like what you're getting out of the effort of like setting it up and maintaining it is enormous compared to, and you're technically, well, not technically, you were self-hosting the server portion of it. And yes, there's the relay. The one thing that Plex does that I really don't like is that the authentication. If you don't have an internet connection, you can't use it basically, which I think is a real
not true.
No?
What you have to do is in the settings, there is a allowed networks situation that you can put in down there. You want to put in, and here's where you got to get a little technical. You need to know what your local subnet is. That means your network address and your /24 or whatever it usually is.
Yeah.
You pop that in, and that will allow you to bypass authentication, which allows you to bypass Plex.tv and all of that, and get direct access to your library. Now, there's a way, it gets networky, but if you want that everywhere, you just need to set up a VPN that essentially gives you a local subnet, or you just define it in the Plex thing, gives you a local subnet, or gives you an IP address on the local subnet so that Plex thinks you're accessing it from right there. And that will allow you to bypass all authentication. And
So
you
just
get to watch
WireGuard
your
back to your
library.
home
Yeah, when there's
networking.
no internet connection. Yeah. Well, I guess it wouldn't work with no internet because you needed internet for VPN. But you know what I mean? Like local, when the power's out and you're running it off a battery backup or whatever, you can still make it work that way.
This is under networks.
I think
There's a
so.
way in there.
There's an advanced I think you have to open up, and
Yeah,
then
and I
it's
did open that. I'm looking at
yeah.
it. I'll have to look that, because that is one thing I've noticed that it's done to me a couple times when I don't have. I'll have local, wireless. My home network's fine, but I won't have, for whatever reason. It's very rare. I mean, it's almost never there.
So the caveat with that is that the apps always try to go through Plex.tv, but if you've got a laptop, then you can type in the IP address of your Plex server, and it just gives you direct access.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're limited in how you access it, but it's still accessible. You're not going to get it through your Roku, essentially. You can get it through your laptop or something.
Oh, so it won't work on Roku. Okay.
Right. It's only because the apps are hard-coded to look through
Got it.
through the URL. There might be a way to do that. I just when
sure
when we're
is,
in an emergency situation and I'm like, well, I just want to watch something. I mean, I've got 8 laptops with full battery charge, so.
Gotcha.
If you're doing it on a laptop, can't you just make a host file, put an entry in the host file to route that traffic to the IP address directly?
Well, host doesn't route.
Host
like
just thinking out loud.
bypasses DNS. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't. Okay. So the way that I get through that is I actually have a local DNS server that does those for me. So I guess yes. So you could type in, your Plex server name or whatever, :32400 /web, and you can hit it. Sure. But yeah, I do all my DNS locally. I hand code that stuff so that all my servers or all my machines get the same resolution as opposed to doing it individually with a host file.
All right.
Do you
big nerd.
Do you pre-encode things? Like when you add new files, do you have it create optimized versions?
I probably would if I didn't make it a point to only have data in a very specific thing. So yeah. So yes, actually, the answer is yes, and I do it more manually. So if I'm getting content or whatever, and it's like an XVid because it came from a VCR or something, then yes, I will re-encode it using Handbrake to H.264. That way, well, Plex can do anything. It's the endpoints that have to have it like translated to a codec they understand. So like Roku's don't do H.265. Which is, the better protocol right now, or the better codec right now. And so it would have to transcode on the fly, which is okay if you have the beef to do it. But,
and if you're only running, if only one client is running at a time, you got the exact same problem with Jellyfin, where it will serve up the file in, depending on the client, everything like, for example, Firefox can't do AV1 codec, so it has to transcode it to an H.264 stream.
Really?
And yeah, it's something like that. It's something weird that they just haven't.
Is that a weird
yet.
Linux thing?
And it's a weird Firefox thing because it's just, there's a list on the
Jellyfin.
Jellyfin.
Weird Firefox things, doesn't there?
Well, yeah.
You shut your mouth, Mohammed.
There's also a problem with 10-bit.
Aggressive web apps. Need I say more?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Just use it in the browser, God.
But and if it can't, if the client can't or doesn't support the codecs, and then it has to use FFmpeg to transcode on the fly, which, as I said, is fine if you've only got one client connected to it. But if I'm watching something and Eric is connected to it watching something, and then Moss is connected, it's got to transcode 3 videos and serve up all the websites at the same time. It gets a little unwieldy. So
But depending on your hardware, I mean it's really not that taxing anymore. I feel like it used to be a big deal. But I don't think it is so much. At least I don't ever see it taking up, because I have several people that have access, and I don't really, if I watch them all, it just doesn't seem like it's doing very much. Maybe
so
that's
do
just
you
my
do that?
system,
The pre-encoding, the optimize, whatever?
I don't. And I just let it do its thing simply because of that. Because I used to, because it really made a huge difference in terms of like the streaming quality and the it would, depending on the media, and it could cause stuttering or slowdowns, and it did its best to sort of pre-encode a certain amount, and then it would sort of spool behind it, and
Okay,
But it
I
was
wanna add on to what you're saying, but also talk about the bullshit Bill is spouting. AV1, right? So what happened is, I suppose you upgraded somewhere in the middle. You have a different CPU, newer CPU now than you used to, maybe, Eric?
yeah, yeah. I have
Okay.
a Ryzen. Yeah.
Okay, so what you actually have access to now is encoding and decoding on chip. So like there's special instruction on your CPU to be able to do that and not break a sweat.
What, like
So
ClickSync?
before, when you didn't have access to that, then it would literally have to go through a software encoding process and just pedal to the metal and have
Yep.
to do that kind of thing, right? So if you have a new enough CPU, you don't have to really worry about that because it happens without much effort. And that's the same thing. I don't know if it's like this on YouTube, but Bill's right above me and I'm just poking him really hard. But the reason that Firefox doesn't support AV1 is not that Firefox doesn't support AV1. Firefox supports AV1 since 2022. What happened was that your CPU does not support AV1 decoding. And so you cannot use AV1 decoding without software intervention, which would just peg your CPU, and Firefox is probably, I'm guessing, just like, yeah, don't overheat their laptop.
So
Just
what
ask for H.265.
I'm looking at the chart now, and there's a chart on the codec support page for Jellyfin, and I was wrong. There is a box checked
you don't
for
say.
AV1. It's 265 that Jellyfin does not support, and it does not
Like
support 10-bit
encoding
264. Well, decoding. So it has to be transcoded on the server side before it's sent to Firefox.
And that might be a MP3 style situation where like they couldn't probably legally put in H.265 support or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a proprietary codec, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm looking to see iOS and SwiftFin and Safari. Safari's got some kind of, what do they got going on here?
They support everything. 'cause they
AV1
pay for it.
decoding is only available on devices with A17 or M3 series chips or newer.
For the same reason, right? Listen to what you're saying is the newer CPUs have this built in. Yes. That's how this works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
And that's why
found that setting. Okay.
The
Good.
network thing?
Yeah, it's list of IP addresses and networks that are allowed without auth, and then I just did the 192.168.1.0/24.
There you go. There you go.
So
Listen, kids,
Nice.
subnetting does matter.
Oh yeah.
love it. I would have to say, out of all of the technologies that I learned, so I went to a computer 1 year, basically like a VOTEC kind of school.
Are you going to make me do a subnetting thing for all these people?
No, but when I was learning about all of the different technologies, like just in the realm of a computer and like how different things functioned, I always thought that networking was probably the most sort of, I don't know how to explain this. Not elegant, maybe was the wrong word, but I just love how the stack and how you're sort of translated through the different OSI layers. Is it OSI? Is that what it is?
That's one of them. Yeah. It's the most popular because everybody says, well, it's a layer 2 problem or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you would troubleshoot and say, okay, well, what layer is it not functioning at? And
right.
Yeah, networking was fascinating to me. I wish I had focused more.
The more you focus
more on it,
the more you focus, the more you hate everybody. Because everybody at the bottom of the stack is all like, yeah, that was a stupid idea. What?
it still fascinates me that things can happen. Like, what was it, like 4 years ago?
It's what happens when you let like scientists organically come up with stupid ideas to fix a problem that should have been fixed in the original protocol. Yes.
What was that edge router in like Pennsylvania on Verizon's network or something that took down like half the traffic in the world because they put in the wrong router, like the wrong subnet key?
BGP.
You remember that?
Was that BGP, a BGP error kind of thing?
It was something like that.
Facebook did it too.
It propagated it around the world in like seconds, and all
it would have been
BGP.
Like, yep.
Everything was getting shoved to this one router in like
routing protocol,
Pennsylvania somewhere.
Yep. And Facebook did it too. They fat fingered some BGP routes and blew themselves off the internet for hours and hours. Oh, yeah. And what was funny about that is that it broke everything such that they couldn't even card into the data center because that used internet routes to be able to actually authenticate these people. So it was like, no. And then it's just full on panic. Like, where's the guy with the physical key? And it's like, he's asleep, but they got him down there eventually.
It is just absolutely fascinating because if you think about the whole concept of like what the internet is, it is networks. It is just all interconnections of networks and
you got to think about it like our interstate system or whatever country you're in, your interstate system, your roads, all of them, right? And they all degrade as there's less and less and less traffic, right? That's less and less and less worried about. But it truly, really is like that. And the protocols are like the rules of the road, except that they were all written, a long time ago before. And we all know technology moves so fast. The protocols can't keep up, right? Which is why we still have the Band-Aid of NAT to kind of fix the issue that we were having with IPv4 in 1996.
I was going to say, weren't we supposed to be out of addresses?
Yeah, we're 30 years. Yeah, we're 30 years into a Band-Aid fix that we should have been on IPv6 to solve all these issues. So we'd have, more IP addresses than grains of sand on the ocean, on the beaches, and more IP addresses than stars in the sky, that kind of thing. But it's like, that works. Yeah, all the routers support it. It's fine. Just keep.
We're not going to change until we are absolutely forced at gunpoint.
Exactly. And it has been a running joke since 1999 that IPv6 it's coming. It's coming.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in 2050, 2060, we'll finally see like more than 50% adoption of IPv6 across the internet. But
maybe straight after Bill's RISC-V laptop.
Honestly, that's probably
that
right.
already exists.
Quantum computing, RISC-V,
But what's funny about that is that the analog is there because getting off of the x86 architecture is very similar to getting away from Band-Aids like NAT. Like there are so many things wrong with the architecture itself, just that nobody cares enough to do anything about it because it just works. So you're kind of there.
Well, on that note, we should probably wrap it up. Let us know.
And next time we'll have a lesson on subnetting.
Yep.
And were we recording a podcast? I completely forgot.
Yeah. This one always goes that way.
Yeah, Linux OTC.
Hence it's off the cuff.
Let us know what you think. Show at linuxotc.org. Comment on Mastodon. Discord. Go to the website, linuxotc.org. You can comment directly on there. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, I've been Bill.
I've been Eric.
I've been Majid.
I'm still the other guy.